So how did I quit my $60,000 job and started my own business? Well, the truth is, guys, that's not all that I did. I actually quit my job, but when I did that, I actually went ahead and got a minimum wage job at the time. Now, this made a lot of sense, but saying it out loud kind of sounds very stupid and kind of weird, to be honest. But at the time, I had an idea, I had a plan, and that's why in this video, I'm gonna break down all the details to why I quit my $60,000 job for a minimum wage job. But on top of that, if you guys are wondering, well, tell me, how much money do you make now 4 years later? The answer is, last month in December, I actually made around $23,000 in 1 month. So I'm doing well now, but to understand exactly how I got here right now, you have to understand what I went through back then and what it actually took to get here right now. So that's why in this video, I'm gonna make sure to share all the details to how I started my business. On top of that, why I took a minimum wage job and how everything actually got together. Now, if you guys don't know me, my name is Ty Bryson. I'm an accountant and I upload videos on YouTube every single day, daily content. On top of that, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notified, and do me a favor and like this video. Destroy the like button and do whatever you want with it. I won't tell anybody, okay? Now, guys, serious question here, okay? Comment down below and let me know. The job you have right now, the career you have right now, do you actually like it? And if you do like it, comment down below. But if you don't like it, comment down below also and let me know, why do you still have that job if you don't enjoy doing it? And to be honest, when I asked my grandfather this question, he said, Tommy, I don't like my job. I want to say, like, well, why are you doing it? He told me, Tommy, stop right there, sir, okay? In life, you don't always get to do what you actually want to do. And sometimes you have to work hard, and then once you retire, you get to live the life you actually want to live. So far, guys, that was the worst advice I ever got in my life. And even right now, guys, my grandfather can actually retire, but he still hasn't. And he still does the same job that he actually doesn't enjoy whatsoever. Now, do I blame him? The answer is no, not really. That's a very normal concept of thinking for people that grew up with that mindset. So I'm glad I didn't take that advice. However, I don't blame him whatsoever. Now, the basic idea of this video, guys, is basically, I'm gonna break down exactly why I quit my job. And the main reason was, I knew for a fact that making $6,000 a year wasn't going to make me wealthy unless I lived frugally for 40 years, and that wasn't the lifestyle I actually wanted. However, if you want to know when this happened, the business I started, and how I started it, you want to watch this video all the way through. And now here's the first thing that actually made me quit my job and actually just get a minimum wage job, okay? Now the first thing is this, guys. There was one point in college when I actually decided, hey, college is actually not worth it. Now, if you guys don't know, I grew up in a very poor family. Very poor. So for example, this bedroom right here where I'm actually recording this video is so small I can't fit a full mattress without actually opening the door and hitting the mattress, okay? So it's really that small. I can't even fit like a master like bed mattress, like one of those big ones. It wouldn't even be able to like even open the doors whatsoever, okay? And at the time, I grew up in a bedroom like this with my mom, my stepdad, and I also, all sleeping in a very small home like this, and the kitchen was outside because we rented a room, and it was very bad, very poor. But guess what? I had a lot of fun because back then I had a Nintendo 64 and I played Mario all day. But now thinking back, I realized how poor we actually were. So you can imagine, when I realized that I was going to college, I said to myself, well, college is key. This is gonna keep me from being poor like I kind of was back then, okay? But again, it wasn't really that bad because I had, family is home, whatever you want to call it, but it was very small and it wasn't the best lifestyle whatsoever, okay? But when I went to college, guys, I made sure to pick a good career. And this career was actually accountant. I knew two things. It paid a lot of money, and on top of that, it was actually in demand. Because again, a college degree is business, so you want to pick the right one. And I knew for a fact, guys, that once I graduated with this degree, I could go out there and get a job and make at least like $6,000 to $72,000 every single year with a basic salary. And to me, that sounded like a lot of money back then, okay? Now, the first thing is this, guys. I made a big mistake while I was in college, and that was that I started learning way too much for my own good beyond what my professor was actually teaching me. Now, what does this mean exactly, Tommy? It means that, for example, when I was in college, I started reading a lot of self-help books, millionaire books and also invest in books. And I realized that I did not want to be that guy to actually, graduate and then work and then retire at 65 and live a very tropical lifestyle at the hospital and tell my best friend Bill from 40 years at the office that I wish I would have done a lot more in my entire life. But now guess what, Bill? It's way too late. But no, that's not the lifestyle I actually wanted to live. So I asked myself this one question to make sure that I actually was very sure about that that's not what I actually wanted for myself. So I actually asked myself this one question, guys, and it was basically, how long will it take you to become a millionaire as an accountant making around $6,000 per year? Now, the answer was shocking. So for example, if I had a salary of $60K per year, which sounds like a lot of money, I know, but after taxes of 20%, well, I only got to keep around 80%, meaning after tax I make around $48,000. But after my rent, which is around like $12,000 in New York, well, I only got to make, well, actually keep around $36,000. But now, if you talk about food and also buying clothes or an iPhone here and there or a car, well, that's minus 4,000, guys, or 5,000, okay? Minus 5,000, that means that I only get to keep every single year around $31,000. Now, this means, guys, okay, that to make $1 million or save $1 million, it would take me approximately, here it is, around 32 years. So I knew for a fact that's not what I wanted. Now, the pro was, saving $31,000 every single year could still make me a ton of money in the future, because if I invested it correctly, live frugally for 20 to 40 years, I'll be just fine. However, the con was that, well, if I'm making $31,000 and then I get married, well, now I have an extra expense. On top of that, I have a kid, and then my family gets sick, something happens. Well, now all this money goes down to zero. And now I don't have any money whatsoever. And I realized that, well, having a job is more risky than starting a business at this point in my life. So that's when I realized that, hey, I'm gonna take my skills as an accountant and make my own career path and just go out there and start my own business. And that's exactly what I did. By the way, having a family, having kids, having like people to take care of, it's not really a con, but having a job makes it a con because you can't really fit it into your budget. And that sucks like a ton. So here's what happened after I graduated from college, guys, okay? The first thing is, number two, I realized that, hey, if I take a full-time job, I'll be stuck in this job forever, because a lot of people actually do this. They take a full-time job, I'll be here for a few years, and then now, boom, 40 years go by, you're still working that same job. And I knew that if I take this full-time job, I wouldn't have as much time to actually create content on YouTube, make my own business, and do what I wanted to do, because again, an accounting job is very complex, and all that work has to get done every single day, and you'll start living for the organization and not really for yourself. On top of that, I got extremely scared of the quote that says, well, tell me who you hang around the most, and I'll tell you who you will be in the future. So I said to myself, if I'm going to work and spending time there for at least 10 hours every single day and taking that home with me, well, what happens if I become those people and I don't achieve what I want to achieve, okay? And that kind of scared the crap out of me every single day when I thought about becoming an accountant and getting a full-time job as an accountant. And that's honestly why I didn't go into it, okay? Now, the first thing is this, guys. I knew for a fact I needed two things from a job, and that's why I took a part-time job. I signed up for a job agency, and the two things I needed were, I needed cash coming in, and on top of that, I needed free time to do everything I wanted to do with my life. Now, the first thing is this, guys. The cash coming in, I basically went ahead and got a data entry job full-time, yes, and, thinking about it now, it's kind of insane, okay? But I literally spent 8 hours a day in that office, crunching numbers, but on top of that, my commute time was around 4 hours. And every extra hour I could possibly get, I would spend that time actually reading books and trying to improve myself. But I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you that that job actually broke me, okay? During that time, I stopped making videos on YouTube. I gave up. I sold all my equipment, and I was like, well, maybe I just can't do this right now. I'm just gonna focus on this, save up money, and then eventually I'll think about doing YouTube some other day. But for right now, I need to be an adult and just like do what I actually have to do, okay? Kind of like my grandfather said, and it sucked, but the job actually broke me, okay? So that means, guys, that I stopped focusing on my business, I stopped trying to grow it, and I stopped growing it around $115 per week. And on top of that, I didn't make any videos on YouTube anymore, and I said to myself, well, making income from this job is just enough, and I'll just use this to actually make a business in the future. And that was basically it, okay? Now, with the free time I actually got from having this job, believe it or not, I still got free time, okay? But with the free time, I took that free time and I started my own business. And with that business, I made around $115 per week. But I wasn't focusing on growing it so much because, again, that job kind of broke me. The second thing was that job, that data entry job, was only making me around $312 per week because, again, guess what, okay? The agency I work for was taking a cut out of my paycheck because I was part of the contract, which is weird and messed up, but it is business, so I do understand it. Now, I also had a side hustle doing PA work for the film industry, and that job I worked twice a week on the weekends, and I made around between $300 to $400 every single week. Tell me, that's a ton of money, so why not just do that? The answer is, guys, 2 days. Meaning, believe it or not, I work between 16 to 18 hours every single day to try to make, well, for 2 days, to try to make sure I actually made that much money. Again, 18 hours one day, 18 hours the next day, literally a lot of hours in 2 days just to make $300 to $400 a week. You're probably wondering, Tommy, well, what happened to take you away from earning this much money to now making $23,000? Well, we have to get into number 3. When I actually started my own business, but I actually took it to the next level. So there are 2 very important dates to the story. So the first date is November 10th and the last date is actually December 8th. And between these 2 dates right here, my entire life changed. And before these 2 dates, guys, I'd actually decided to, hey, I'm just gonna keep this job, keep the side hustle, and just keep doing this stuff over and over again, and then eventually I'll figure it out. However, on November 18th, I got some very bad news. And at the time, my dad was very sick and I couldn't afford to actually send him money to put him in the nice hospital because, again, I didn't have as much money as I actually do have now. Now, at the time, I remember very well, I only had around $6,000. It took me around a year to actually save up, and I was just like trying to make as much money as I possibly could to then help my dad because I knew if I spent the money, I couldn't make it back, and it kind of sucked. It was a bad situation all around. Now, on November 18th, guys, I got some news that my dad actually passed away. When this happened, I spent $3,000 and bought back all my camera equipment. I said to myself, well, I have to go back, okay? And I came back around December 8th. By the way, notice this, okay? I got my last paycheck from that job on November 10th, and I came back on December 8th. 10 plus 8 is 18th, and my dad actually passed away on the 18th. Very weird how all those numbers actually match up, but it's kind of weird how it works, but it's just a coincidence, okay? But the concept is, guys, during this time was a time when I actually decided to actually make a change in my life. Now, I wish I could tell you, hey, you know, I came back on the 8th, I was like very like motivated, and I kind of was. But I actually procrastinated, I didn't trust myself, and I didn't feel like I had what it takes to actually do what I wanted to do in life. And by the way, back then around December 8th, I actually gained around 30 to 40 pounds because all this stuff that's actually happening in my life. It's kind of depressing, I know. However, it's part of the game, and that's how it actually works. By the way, I make a lot of money now. However, if I didn't go through that experience back then, I wouldn't be the person I am right now. I probably would have still been at that job right now, and I would never be telling you guys this story right here that could possibly help you avoid everything as you went through back then. And now you're probably wondering, tell me what happened after you gained this 30 pounds and 40 pounds. What made you get back on track? Well, guys, I'll be honest, okay? August 2018 actually happened. During this time, I hit my goal of around 2,000 subscribers, and that's when I decided to myself, I want to make YouTube content about what I want to make it about, and I want to be the most authentic version of myself without worrying about anyone else. And at the time, I also met Gary Vee, and someone sent me this book, okay? Crushing It by Gary Vee, and it also helped me out a ton. But the main thing is, guys, it wasn't the book, it wasn't Gary Vee, it wasn't anyone. To be honest, it's a decision you actually make for yourself because no one helps you, and at the end of the day, you have to make the decision for yourself. So you might watch this video, get motivated, but in 2 days, you'll be back to normal. So you have to decide for yourself that you actually want to make a change. So back then, in 2018 of August, I hit 2,000 subscribers, and at the time, guys, my YouTube channel was making around $4 every single year, and I make an average around like $10,000 per month on YouTube every single month now, which is awesome, but back then, it wasn't the case. And if you're wondering how did I do it, the answer is I post content on YouTube every single day, and I make videos about finance, which is what I really care about, and I think that's the reason why this works out, okay? On top of that, I think it's just luck, but it's also making sure you do exactly what you want to do the best way and the most authentic way. And when it came to my business, guys, at the time, my business was making around like $300 like per week or something like that, and now my business makes gross around $12,000 per month, and on top of that, it makes around $6,000 per month net. So in total, with 7 streams of income, I have around an income of around like $20,000, which is great if you ask me, but I could never be right here if I never made the decision to just go out there and get a part-time job instead of going out there and getting a $60,000 job, okay? And I went through all this stuff just to get right here. So if you ask me, tell me, do I take this job or do I go out there and just figure it out? The answer is, in my opinion, guys, this all happened in 3 years. I'm 22 years old now, okay? So if you ask me, you still have time. So just figure things out and just don't try to trap yourself as early on as possible, because you don't want to end up like Bill, living in a tropical hospital and still wondering of what could have been. And guys, to be honest, that's about it for this video. Comment down below and let me know what you think about it. Also, like this video if you enjoyed it. And on top of that, hit the bell to get notified. And if you want to talk to me one-on-one, uno, just DM me on Instagram time Bryson. And on top of that, if you want to watch the video, the full video on how I make $20,000 per month, watch this video right here. And also, subscribe to the channel right now, look at my face right here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And as always, peace.